Okay, the first thing we need to do is click on Totalflow and click on the Applications tab. After clicking on the Applications tab, we need to know exactly where to turn on the trending application, so I'm going to drop down here to the Help button. And the Help button, I'm just going to scroll down here on the left hand side. You can see it says X Series G4. So I'm going to scroll down until I see the trending system. So right here at 95, trend system. So in my application list, I'm going to scroll down until I see application 95. And then I'm going to go ahead and click the spare and turn on the trend system and send it. So here's application 95. And my trend system, I'm just going to go ahead and find trend system there and go ahead and hit the send button. Okay, so after the trend system has been sent, over here in the tree view here you should see trend system, and we've got a plus sign next to it. So if I hit the plus sign, I don't have anything built yet inside my trend, so there's nothing inside. So we actually need to know what the application array register is for each variable that we want to trend. I said that we were going to trend the battery voltage and charger voltage. So I'm going to go up here to I/O interface and go ahead and open that up. And we have an auxiliary I/O in the G4, and here is my battery voltage and charger voltage. So for battery voltage, 7.3.5 is my app array register, and 7.3.6 is my charger voltage. So I'm going to go ahead and make a note of both of those. And then the other points that we were going to trend, I'm going to drop down to flow measurement, and one of those was flow rate. So I'm going to hover over the flow rate, and it's 11.7.19. We're also going to trend our differential pressure, which is 11.7.0. static pressure 11.3.0, and temperature 11.3.3. So now that I have all of my app array register numbers written down, I'm going to go back to trend system and go ahead and put in a description. Log, scan every second, log every second. We're going to do 350 records, and we're going to go ahead and add the first one. So the description here on the first one is I'm just going to put in bat volt, and this is voltage, and we've got it set up. Variable is app array register. We could put in a Modbus request number or sequence number, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that as app array register. And for the first slot here for battery voltage, we said was 735, so I'm going to go ahead and back this up, put in a 735. And as far as the trend data, we could do a snapshot, accumulate. The default is mean. We could do a square root, minimum, maximum, a percent above, percent below, and once again hit the help button here and choose the one that works best for you. So I'm going to run with the default on all of these. So I'm just going to do a mean and just a floating point. Same thing here. It could be an integer, could be an unsigned integer, and so forth. So once again, hit the help button and choose the one that works best for you. Minimum and maximum. We could put in a minimum and a maximum amount here for each one of the components, or we can do it in the graph after the fact. So if you know exactly what range your particular point you're looking at is going to run, we could go ahead and put in a minimum and maximum. So for example, on this one, since it's battery voltage, I know I'm going to run somewhere between 11 volts and probably 13 volts, maybe not that high. So 11 to 13, and hit OK here. And I'm going to drop down and add my charger voltage. So I'm going to put in charger. And my engineering units here is volts, once again. And my app array register was 736. I'm going to leave the minimum and maximum alone, and I'll show you how to change that in the graph. So I'm going to go ahead and say OK here. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add a third one, and this will be our static pressure. and static pressure PSIA, and I'm going to put in my app array register 11.3.0. Differential pressure, and we're going to go ahead and put in here inches of H2O, and my app array register 11.7.0. And we're going to put in temperature, and this is degrees F. .3.3. And the last one here, I'm going to go ahead and add flow rate. And it just so happened to be MCF per day. And this one is 11.7.19. Okay, so now we've got that done. They should all be in your variable window on the right hand side. We could go in and edit. For example, flow rate is highlighted at this point. If I hit the edit button, flow rate comes back up and I can make changes to it. I could also go in and highlight and delete, or add another one to this list after the fact, after it's already been created. So now I can go ahead and do a send, and we're going to call this one current values. Okay, so that should have sent the trend file out to the unit. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and close, back out to the splash screen. So this gives it a chance to set that file in, and we can start to trend at this point. And I'm just going to go ahead and connect back up to the unit. Okay, so now that we're back into the unit, you can see trend system has the plus sign next to it. If I go ahead and hit the plus sign next to trend system, I get current values. That's the trend that we created and downloaded to the unit. And so now if I go ahead and click on current values, you can see I have the flow rate, temperature, differential pressure, static pressure, charger voltage, and battery voltage. And so each one of these is coming across on the right, and this is just graph data. And I could also look at it on the grid. So here's the time and date stamp. This is happening every second. It's going out and trending. So I have battery, charger, static pressure, differential pressure, temperature, and flow rate. Now, under graph, we could go ahead and modify the graph. If we wanted to change color or line thickness or type of graph or font or any of those things, we can double left click and notice that the y-axis 1 is red, and it's set up for battery voltage. So right up here we see the red line, and we have battery voltage to the left. And so if I change this to, let's say I changed it to temperature, for example, and apply, now temperature is at the top and it's red. So now I have temperature in two places. So you can see how you can modify each one of these. If I drop down to the temperature, and I could change that one to battery voltage, and go ahead and apply that, and then I get my battery volts down bottom. The next thing is the color. If you wanted to change, for example, to a completely different color, you could do that. And so now notice my y-axis 5 has changed from turquoise to yellow, and then all I have to do is just send that, and it'll change the line out here on the graph. So I can go ahead and apply it. You can see the yellow now. And then my line thickness is thin by default, so I'm going to go ahead and jump that up to thick and apply, so you can see how it changes the look. We could also do auto range for best fit. By default, that's what we get. Otherwise, I could uncheck that and do a minimum maximum range. The other thing is more. I can add titles, I can add subtitles, I can go from color to monochrome, I can add symbols, change the precision, I can change my plot style. For example, I could go to a bar graph, or I could do an area, things like that. Okay, and then I could also change my fonts and the color of the background and desktop and shadows and so forth. So you can really get in here and customize your screen quite a bit where it may suit you better. And I'm going to go ahead and change this one back to thin and apply, and OK. Now when we collect this data historically, later in this chapter, we'll also collect the trend file. So I'm going to go ahead and let this trend run, and then when we get to the historical collection portion of the tutorial, you can see how to collect your trend file at that point. So this concludes trending.